Hello, my dear listeners. Hello, my dear friends. How are you all? I hope we are doing our best to serve our duties with utmost honesty and love. And with the grace of Almighty and with the blessings of our parents and gurus, we are going to be successful in this sadhana to become one, to realize that we are one, right? So with this, let's proceed further through the life of our master Shri Ramakrishna Paramhansa Dev. And today we are, I suppose we are here to know how actually how the life is happening to Narendra Datta, right? So let's proceed further. um but before proceeding further, we must remember that the circumstances right now with through which Narendranath is right now going through, actually, that somehow made him so bitter that even the name of Lord or the name of God actually made him really bitter. So what happened next? Let's find out. My friend must have been wounded. How could he fathom the dire misery that had forced these words out of my lips? Sometimes, when I found that there were not enough provisions for the family and my purse was empty, I would pretend to my mother that I had an invitation to dine out and remain practically without food. Out of self respect, I could not disclose the facts to others. My rich friends sometimes requested me to come to their homes or gardens and sing, and I had to comply, but I always kept my woes to myself. They were not particularly inquisitive. Except one or two, only one perceived my real condition and put me under a deep debt of gratitude by sending anonymous donations to my mother. Some of my old friends who earned their livelihood by unfair means asked me to join them. Only one or two who had learned by bitter experience sympathized with me. There were other troubles also. A rich woman suggested an ugly means which I rejected with scorn of ending my days of penury. I refused. Another woman also who came to me with similar overtures. In spite of all these troubles, I never lost my faith in the mercy of God. Every morning, taking His name, I got up and went out in search of a job. One day, my mother overheard me and said, "Hush, you fool! You are crying yourself hoarse from your childhood. And what has He done for you?" I was stung to the quick. Does God really exist? I thought. And if so, does He really hear the fervent prayer of man? Then why is there no response to my passionate appeals? Why is there so much in His benign kingdom? Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar's words, if God is good and gracious, why then do millions of people die for want of a few morsels of food? Rang in my ears with bitter irony. I was exceedingly cross with God. It was a fit moment for doubt also to creep into my heart. It was ever against my nature to do anything secretly. On the contrary, from boyhood, neither fear nor anything else would prevent me from expressing my opinion. So it was quite natural now for me to try to prove to the world that God was a myth, or if He existed, to call upon Him was fruitless. Soon the report gained currency that I was an atheist and did not scruple to drink or even frequent houses of ill fame. This unmerited calumny hardened my stubborn heart still more. I openly declared that in this miserable world there was nothing reprehensible in a man who, seeking for a brief respite, would resort to anything. Not only that, but if I was once convinced of the efficacy of such a course, I would not shrink from following it through fear of anybody. A garbled report of the situation soon reached the ears of the master and his devotees in Calcutta. Some of this came to me for first hand information and hinted that they believed in some of the rumors at least. A sense of wounded pride filled my heart on finding that they could think me so low. In an exasperated mood, I gave them to understand plainly that it was cowardice to believe in God through fear of hell, and argued with them as to his existence or non existence, quoting several Western philosophers in support. The result was that they took leave of me with the conviction that I was hopelessly lost, and I was glad. I thought that perhaps Sri Ramakrishna too would believe that, which thought raised my indignation again to the boiling point. Never mind, I say to myself, if the good or bad opinion of a man rests upon such flimsy foundations, I don't care. But I was amazed to hear later that the master had received the report coldly without expressing an opinion one way or the other. And when one of his favorite disciples, Bhavanath, said to him with tears in his eyes, "Sir, I could not even dream that Narendra could stoop so low," he was furious and said, "Hush, you fool! The mother has told me that it can never be so. I shan't be able to look at you if you speak to me again like that." So, my dear friends, that was the reply of a guru to, to his disciples with different levels of progression, right? In the path of sadhana, in their sadhanas, life sadhanas. So, what happened next, we will come to know in the next episode. But still, then, just keep, just we have to keep remembering that if we are praying for something and we are not getting any reply or any notion from Lord, from God, whatever the name Almighty which we are actually pleased to call the the Almighty, I suppose maybe, maybe there is a reason for that. Maybe there is a reason for that. A few days back, I heard one beautiful line from a very famous guru, and the morsel of the or the outcome of that or meaning of that line was, Guru is there not to justify our wishes. Guru is there, his prayers is there to justify our actual goal of this life. So we have to keep faith in the process of this journey, which is being carved out by Almighty, who is much more better carpenter, which is far better than us, who far better than our blueprints, right? So be happy, be jolly, and keep praying.